So everything hasn't showed up for the motor yet, but we did get a couple things. We got the timing chain and gear set, and then a new intake manifold gasket. So we're gonna throw these on real quick, and then as the other stuff comes, we'll just keep putting it in, and this motor will be ready to go in no time. Also got my brother helping again today.
Yep. There we go.
It's got a little. It's got a little ridge that goes into the oil pan gasket.
Yeah, it's probably good at replacing that.
So we discovered something here. So I ordered 2100, which is the correct one, and they sent me 2200. So
it's not even close to the right size.
Yeah, the bolt holes don't line up, and it is physically way smaller.
That's not gonna work. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ship that one back. I just ran down to AutoZone and they have one. It'll be here on Friday, so we'll still be able to do this weekend. So for today, we just got the intake manifold gasket, and we got some new valve cover gaskets to throw on as well. So the first thing we gotta do is just pull the distributor off, and it's just this one bolt. And then if you don't want to redo your timing, is make sure when you pull it out, we'll mark it before we pull it out, and then you just want to make sure you don't spin it, and
make sure you don't spin the motor over or turn the distributor.
Yeah, this was it. So I'm just gonna mark right here on the back, right there, from the block to the distributor, so when you turn this, you can get it back. Just line it up with your mark and pull
straight
it
up.
Straight up.
Ooh. We got a new gasket. Yeah, just try not to let that fall down into the motor.
And then this is the part right here. You just don't want to spin that gear if you can.
I think they got some pry points on here.
You want to make sure you scratch your brandy paint as much as possible.
Oh, that sounds good. That's what you want to hear. Boom. Now we'll just get this cleaned up and put the new gaskets in.
So, you got all the mating surfaces all cleaned up on the motor itself. So now we're going to go to the intake manifold. We ended up just taking a wire wheel to it. It just made it a lot easier, and this is a cast steel head, so doesn't matter on this, but this is aluminum, so we cannot use the wire wheel on this, so we're just gonna have to scrape it off by hand. And when you're using this is a steel razor blade on aluminum, you just want to be really careful not to dig into the aluminum, because it has to be a smooth machine finish to seal properly. Yeah, and then what's his name? Dio.
Dio, can you hear me? I am lost and so alone. I'm asking for your guidance. Won't you come down from your throne? I need the Takan project to teach me how to rock. Gasket maker.
We got a game plan going.
What's your game plan, Owen?
So we've got some gray for these surfaces because they're going to be nice and tight. And then we got some black for these surfaces because once it's torqued on there, there's actually a gap here. And then this will just fill in that gap.
Honestly, I don't think you need RTV on this surface right here.
Braden, I'm going to do it.
You don't. The gasket is a gasket for a reason.
Okay, but guess what? RTV holds it there. So I'm going to do a skim coat.
Guess what? It doesn't hold it there because this is really heavy. It's not glue.
I know, it's a holding bond.
No, it's not gonna work.
You know how many gaskets I've done in my lifetime?
You know how many things that leak?
Everything I own.
Yeah. Don't listen to this kid. Why?
You just want to put enough on here?
Take these back. You don't need them anymore. Because look, you got a gasket right there.
That's not a gasket, dude. That's a holding agency.
Holy cage.
See, now look, you put this here.
Well, if you actually got a Ford product that was designed to work, you could sit in there without it sliding
this
down.
is a Chevy motor, so we're not using Ford products. I know it's unfortunate. If this was a Ford, we wouldn't even have to be rebuilding it right now, okay? But it's not. It's a Chevy, so we're gonna work with what we got.
Good.
I guess that worked.
Yeah, dude, I've done a lot of these in my time.
Yeah, it's a leak right there, though.
Well, if it was up to me, I'd smear the whole surface, so I'm gonna do that.
No.
Hey, I did this in my other Blazer, dude, and it... Okay, fine.
Yeah, and you had RTV going down your intake because you spewed over.
Yeah. It burned it through. It runs all right.
Runs all right now that you're putting another motor in it.
This is the problem.
Somebody didn't bend my Velcro.
You bent the Velcro because you put lube on it.
How the hell?
Ew.
Your thing's
Oh.
sliding.
What?
That went down your motor. That booger. Down your intake. You flipped it off and it went whew.
Owen.
I am gonna put a skim coat in the entire intake, Manny.
Owen.
What?
Did it have it on there before?
Yeah,
No, it didn't.
it's gonna now.
That's not gonna seal. That is not gonna seal. You're really not supposed to put RTV right there, Owen.
Well, I'm gonna put it in the areas where there's like some...
You put it in the corners and on this only. And you use the gasket as that. But...
I don't want this to be like a 4-day bond. I want this to be an everlasting bond.
well, it's not going to be anymore.
Now we're gonna take the black RTV and go against everything Braden's saying and do a thick ass coat across the whole
this
thing.
isn't gonna seal. Jeez. Okay.
What?
I think that's good.
They give you a full tube for a reason, Braden. Out.
You're making musical sounds out of it
Blow
now?
on it and everything. A bunch of shit comes out of it. Like, it's like. Okay, it's good.
I'm gonna pee. Oh. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so we got. You stop laughing. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. So we got the gaskets on, held in with a little bit of RTV, so it just doesn't move around. And then we got the thick coat on the edges, right here where there's no gasket, just to make sure it seals all up. So now we're just gonna take the intake and set it as flatly as possible on there. Yeah. So make sure not to bump your gaskets.
How's it going?
Okay, so we just got one last thing to throw in today, and it's some new valve cover gaskets. Alright, so I've accumulated quite a bit of stuff, but not everything's come. I'm still waiting on some of the timing stuff, but that'll be here tomorrow. But I did get the rebuild kit for the throttle body. So I'm going to be just pulling this apart and rebuilding all of the seals and diaphragm and stuff like that. I've got full just gaskets and seals basically for it in here. So, and filters. And so I'm going to be pulling this apart and rebuilding it. And then tomorrow, once that stuff comes, we'll put the rest of this stuff on there and he will be ready to go. So I've never actually rebuilt one of these before, so I'm just kind of pulling it apart and looking in here. It's like a puzzle. Just gotta find all the right parts. They come with, there's a picture. I'm not gonna read any of it, but there's a picture. I'm not trying to get it perfect, but just pretty good. It's good enough. Gonna pull the masking tape off of here and set the rebuilt throttle body on. And I got a new thermostat. I'm just gonna throw in real quick. This goes in underneath here. Okay, well, I don't have a thermostat gasket, but I ordered one and that'll be here tomorrow as well. So I'm just trying to get as much done as I can right now because I'm waiting on parts. So I'm just getting a lot of the accessories on. So I got some vacuum lines on, the coil pack on, whatever this is on with a bunch of vacuum lines, and just trying to get all the stuff I can get done so when everything comes in tomorrow I can throw it on. Okay, so it's the next day and got the parts that we needed. I got my thermostat gasket and then my timing set as well. So now I should have everything here to finish assembling this motor. Alright, well, I got most of the stuff back onto the motor here. I got the alternator on and water pump, and this is most of the stuff that's going to be on here for when we put it in. There's going to be a couple other things we switch out when we pull the motor out of my other Blazer. We're going to switch some stuff over to this one before we put it in. But I got the oil pan off here. I'm going to clean it up and just spray it black, and then I'm gonna have to get it onto the engine hoist to do the rear main seal. Got the oil pan all painted up. I also just gave the power steering box a quick spray paint just to make stuff look a little bit newer. And then I also got the engine up on the engine hoist here so I can get access to the back of the motor so I can pull all this stuff off and replace the rear main seal, which I have right here. Alright, so I got the motor all back together. It's all ready to go. So probably in the next video we're going to be switching motors out, which is going to be fun. But hopefully this one runs good and hopefully it doesn't leak anything, or all of this was for nothing. Yeah, I know it's kind of boring just doing the same thing. Like we took it out, now we're going to rebuild it and then put it in. But it's something that needs to be done so we can have more fun in the future. So once we get this back into the Blazer, a couple more things I need to get welded up and finished up, and then we'll have some fun. There's going to be a lot of snow wheeling this winter. Probably a lot of recoveries because a lot of people like to take their minivan up the canyon. So, and then I am also going to go to Easter Jeep Safari next year in April. So that'll be another cool video. So a lot of fun stuff coming up, but right now just getting it ready. It's kind of slow and tedious, but it'll be worth it in the end. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and